Bruny was my first case with Scott Schuyler. That was a double homicide in Boynton Beach.
Boynton Beach police say they've caught the man behind a deadly double shooting. Joseph Bruny Jr., he faces homicide and robbery charges.
Joseph Bruny should have never been prosecuted. Joseph Bruny did everything that a reasonable person under similar circumstances would have expected him to do.
Bruny gets summoned to the house to pick up money from sales of marijuana.
And they had owed him money for a period of months. They contacted him over the phone. They insinuated that they were ready to make due on their debt. They invited him to a home, and he cautiously got out of the car. And he was correct to be cautious, because ultimately what these two people wanted to do was rob him. Mr. Bruny was a concealed weapons permit holder. Mr. Bruny was there doing something legal, collecting money.
As he approaches, he sees the younger brother with a firearm. The younger brother's the hothead. There were text messages going back and forth.
He could see that they were in possession of a .38, a rather small firearm in their pocket. And as Mr. Bruny brought his attention to the brother, he saw that the brother had a Mac 9 submachine gun around his neck.
Pulls out a Mac, turns around. Mr. Bruny pulls out his weapon. He's a licensed, he has a concealed weapon permit. He fires rounds. This was crucial here because the state got it wrong, where the first shot went. They said all the shots were in the back.
What our firearm expert was able to show was that, in fact, at the time that Bruny discharged the firearm, the person that passed away was facing him.
The first shot was in the left thigh. Once he got the older brother got the shot to the left thigh, he turned around and then he gets 2 shots to the back. Police had it wrong, Amy had it wrong.
When he left that scene, and this is why I suggest he should have never been arrested, he did everything that somebody who was in that situation, who acted legitimately, would do. And the number one thing you would expect somebody to do after they got into safe ground is call the police. And that is exactly what Joe did. In fact, he was taken into custody while on the phone with 911, driving to the police department.
When he was questioned by the police 4 times, he was consistent every single time.
In jury selection, you can learn a lot about your prospective jurors. And I specifically asked the person who wound up being the foreperson on the case, if you were saddled with an extreme situation where you discharged your firearm in a legal way, what would be your next steps? And when that juror said, I would call the police and drive myself to the police department, it was an exact replica of what he actually did.
It was a home run after that.
We were able to convey in sequence from the beginning exactly what transpired during the course of the trial in the middle and the end. 12 people came back and said that Mr. Bruny was not culpable, was not guilty of taking 2 lives. That jury justified his actions and said that he acted reasonably under the circumstances, and we successfully defended a double homicide.